Welcome to BOCI TV. This is Carolyn Bindle. I am president of Fashion Academy. We train image consultants, so we have all of that taken care of. And look at our nice dapper Don Lawler here. Just perfect. I noticed the pocket square. I just want you to know that. Okay?
Thank you.
That's the extra little thing that men should be doing, is that pocket square. But we are here at BOCI Business Over Coffee, our television show, and we want to welcome all of you who are watching, both virtual and if you're watching this as an archive. Thank you for watching. If you are watching live, you can follow and ask questions on Twitter at BOCoffee, #BOCI. And we have had we've had Yvonne Rahal, please don't get mad at me if I messed that up, has favorited this, and Recruiting Feed has followed us, and Mike Kalmeyer has also started following us just during our show today. So we're very, very grateful for that.
Welcome,
and I want to welcome them to our virtual audience here. But Business Over Coffee, it's about bringing everyone together and connections, collaborations, exposure in business, and in doing so, we do have sponsors. That is a new thing, and we're loving that. Organo Gold is one of our sponsors, and have a cup of coffee on us. Promote your business with your free profile on businessovercoffee.com. Okay. We also have another sponsor, Plexus Slim. They call it the skinny pink drink. You see that? I mean, you can literally Google skinny pink drink, and this is what will come up. So those are our two sponsors today, and we want to thank them for being here. But we have Don Lawler in a continuation of our media series of different things about to do with the media. And I really wanted Don on here because he has taken 20, 30 years of experience of working for someone else and turned it into his own business. And started out as a disc jockey. And you said in a small product city.
Small town, yeah.
And then you have proceeded to do every job in radio and television that there is. You even commented you managed one of Flynn broadcasting stations.
Right.
So you've done it all. But now you are telling stories via video and just very different things, just yourself, your family. But I like the business side. Why in the world, you think about doing the video storytelling for family, for posterity and such.
Right. And we do that.
And that's a wonderful thing. But how many people do it for their business, to set up something for the business? That's awesome.
Thank you.
I love that. And so we're going to talk a little bit today about what you've learned, how you took the things that you learned working for someone else and how you turned that into your own business, and why it's important to have that video. Now that if you did not see Dr. Flynn previous, you need to go in and archive that video and watch that one prior to our interview with Don. Because the two just melded together perfectly. He prepared you for this interview.
He did a great job.
Yes.
It's going to be tough to follow.
Yes. So if you're just tuning into this one, you've got to go back and backtrack and look and watch the one that featured Dr. Flynn. So Don, you said really 10 years into working for someone else.
I'm actually kind of a serial entrepreneur, and I'm glad to be
a serial entrepreneur. I love it.
With an audience full of entrepreneurs getting ready to start your business, and some of you are further along than others and everything. And it's great I love being with entrepreneurs. They're positive people that come up with great ideas, and they're doers. Brian Tracy, I think said that ideas are a dime a dozen, but people who actually can do the job are rare as diamonds, and I believe entrepreneurs are those diamonds.
There you go. And in the United States, they're the who make it tick.
Absolutely.
That's who makes it tick.
We create the jobs. So, and it's, big business, sure, they create a lot of jobs at a factory or a plant or whatever, but really, I think small business owners are the ones that are really, these days, creating most of the jobs.
Amazon was a garage business.
Absolutely.
Amazon, I don't know if everybody knows it, Amazon was a garage business. Even FedEx here in Memphis. you know, 5 people
Absolutely.
were working for it. You know,
Yeah.
it started as a thesis or whatever, it's a business school
Right.
thesis or whatever.
Right.
That's what it started as. So, I
Right.
mean, entrepreneurs.
It's amazing what's going on with the internet. A few years ago, back in the 90s, I was able to help start a .com that absolutely started out like that. Pretty much it was just guys with a napkin and an idea. Yahoo had just broken, and so we were kind of excited about what was going on. And my boss at the time, I was vice president of a chain of hospitals across the Southeast. And he came up with an idea to launch a healthcare information company. And we launched that, and I got out a little too early. But the people who stayed in are multimillionaires today, and they sold it to Humana, a little bitty company called Humana.
Oh my goodness! See, that's the dream of everyone, to
yeah.
sell it to somebody big.
Yeah, and that's pretty much. I mean, most people. I think one popular writer back about 10 years ago was saying that most people are technicians with a brain blip or something like that, you know. But true entrepreneurs want to create things and sell them, I think. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And then you help them sell themselves
Yeah,
by
absolutely.
doing the video about
Right.
themselves.
And I'm excited about that. I mean, I spent a lot of years, like I said, I started as a disc jockey, but I got a lot of my years were as a production director, creating and producing commercials for people. And basically I was telling short stories for businesses in a commercial type of way, you know, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. And I learned to tell stories pretty well there. Later on, I ended up producing 6 PBS documentaries and getting into documentary film,
Good job.
which brought me into doing kind of what I'm doing today. But we just started trying to help entrepreneurs tell their story. And there's a difference in telling, producing a promotional ad or a hardcore commercial and telling your story, because it's the stories, your particular story, that makes you unique, especially as a small micro business owner, that stands out against everybody else and everything. There's a whole process that you went through in leaving corporate or whatever and starting
Yeah.
this dream, or working for the man while you're doing your
which is
thing.
what most people had to
Which
do,
is what I
yes.
did too. In 1982, I started my first business. I'd just been in broadcasting for about 10 years. I was offered my dream job. It's what I was trying to do, and I was going to be the production director at ABC New York. And my wife didn't want to leave with the kids and go to Manhattan with these 2 little bitties, What am I going to do?
Yeah.
We didn't want to leave the town at the time, so I did what I wanted to do. So I started my own company and produced for ad agencies at the time. I had several ad agencies that I was moonlighting for at the time, and they said, "Look, we'll keep you busy," and they did. So I was able to start a business producing commercials for ad agencies and then around the country.
Okay, and then now the videos that you're doing, the storyteller for business, it's not a commercial.
It's not a commercial at all. In fact, it's more like a little mini biography, but
It's a documentary on you.
It's
There you
2 to 3 minutes, because that's about all you can put up on the web
Yeah,
and keep
yeah.
people's attention for certain things. Obviously, you can have full shows too, but for certain things, and you just want to grab their attention, and we're also creating these for, in fact, in the wedding business, we have the love side of the business.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
tell
yeah.
stories for love, life, and biz, and in the wedding side, I do get a lot of referrals from high-end photographers, wedding planners, and venues, and if someone's helping me out, I'm going to help them out too. So I'll tell their story, and they can use those on their website or as video business cards to hand out to people, and I mean, that's going to stand out in the crowd, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is people will resonate with you. There are certain people who, when they hear your story, Carolyn, they're going to think, "Oh gosh, I got to work with Carolyn." And then some people go, "It's not for me,"
Yeah,
and that's fine.
yeah.
And that's fine. You don't get to waste your time with those people. You only draw those people to you that have an affinity for what you're doing and what you believe and what you believe.
That niche marketing.
That's your niche.
Yeah.
And once I understood that, man, it saved a lot of time. I was spending 2 hours per couple trying to talk them into doing a wedding video, and they just didn't get it. My brides get it before they get to me. We want you to tell our story. And so it saves me a whole lot of time. I can focus that time on them and help them tell a better story.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I do the same thing for business owners.
Give us an example of, okay, do you sit down and you interview, let's say you're doing my story, my biz story. What would be, you interview me for that?
Well, we would have, I don't know that we could do that on here,
okay.
but we
Okay.
would do a pre-interview
Okay,
with
that's
you.
what I'm talking about.
Where I
Yeah,
just
the
sit down and we
pre-interview.
just talk. You know,
Okay.
we just talk. It may be on telephone. If I have a client out of town, obviously I can do Skype or telephone. But I'm going to interview you and just find out, you know, how did you get into business? What made you stop doing what you were doing and go to this, you know? What was the process you went through to get there? You know, things like that. And then we've got to compress all of
So
this.
say that after you've gotten
And I look
all
for
of
the
this.
human element, those backstories and things that got you to where you are too. Yeah.
Okay, and it's again just the 2 minutes, so it's going to be eye catching. It's going to be.
It's got to be
quick.
good.
Do you incorporate still photography?
Sometimes, if appropriate. I mean,
Okay.
we are filmmakers and photographers, and my style of photography is photojournalism because that's my background. But we would use them only if it makes sense, and sometimes it may make more sense. Let's just say, for instance, the interview didn't go well on the camera, but I could take a series of stills with her voiceover.
There you go.
And if you ever watched PBS documentaries, you know, the Ken Burns effect, where you take a photo that was shot in Shiloh, 100 years ago, and they put movement on it. Sometimes that's very impactful and much more dramatic than, a video, perhaps.
Yeah,
It could
yeah,
be.
yeah.
So
Now,
it just depends.
Who's the market for that? Would, somebody like Organic Gold, like Plexus Slim, I could see Plexus Slim immediately. I could think, oh my goodness, they can follow somebody from the first to the middle to the end, and
Everyone's got a story,
Yeah.
and it needs to be told. I mean, and even if I'm not doing it, what we're going to do is going to use my skills as a broadcaster and a producer of commercials and that sort of thing. But I would say, at the very least, get your iPhone, like Dr. Flynn said, and record your story.
Yeah. Now, this is just an idea, but we have I'm going to call on people here, but we have Sarah Henley who's trying to get a, baking thing going. Would you film her in the kitchen cooking?
Absolutely.
And then you'd film people taking her brownies at an event, and then you would,
Right.
put that, and then interview her. Is that the type
What
of
I would
thing
do
you're-
probably is sit down and interview her first. I would look for
Uh-huh.
those key sound bites that put together the story, and then we would support that with what we call B-roll, the background video that makes sense to support what we're doing.
Okay. Now, you mentioned handing somebody a video card, video business card.
Video business card.
So it's-
How many of
it's-
those have you seen?
I've not seen any. That's why when you said that, it perked my ears, and I went,
Yeah,
would that be what the video business card is? You just a little
Absolutely.
CD or a flash drive or something, and you
A
hand it
nicely
straight to them?
packaged DVD,
And-
with your artwork and everything, and you hand it to them. And another thing, a lot of people just hand business cards out. I only hand them out when someone asks for them, because those are people who are really interested in that sort of thing. Video business cards are going to cost a little bit more than your average business card,
definitely.
right?
So you really want to make sure they go to the right person.
So you want to make sure it goes to the right person. So if you've got the right person asking, do you have a business card? Well, let me show you my video business card. You're going to catch their attention.
Because what I do is
you're cutting
much
edge,
more, yeah,
right?
It's
Yeah.
much more effective by showing you what I do.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to throw all kinds of things at you here. Okay, we have a jewelry maker. How would you do a jewelry maker?
Oh, gosh. Well, again, I have kind of a base way of doing it. Just as a journalist, I would sit down and then try and find out what the story is. And that's going to take some time for us to sit down and talk. But I also want to see what she does. And the whole time I'm editing in my head as I'm talking with someone. But once I find the story, then I will know what to support it with. And it may be her making jewelry.
The jewelry.
And that's probably, especially if she's talking about why she sits up late at night. When she could be in bed.
She's shaking her head yes.
Working on her, because she's passionate about it, right? I happen to know her, so she's passionate about that, and she's wanting to make a business out of that. And so, and I know when I was building the model for what I do wedding-wise, I spent a lot of hours and hours. Most people don't know, for every hour we shoot, we spend at least 4 hours in post-production. Editing is laborious.
The whole thing.
Yeah. And most entrepreneurs, especially when they're starting, it's something they're passionate about, and they're going to spend a lot of time they're not getting paid for right then. But like, again, Brian Tracy, I'll quote him, he says, everything counts. Everything counts.
Everything counts.
So don't lose heart at those long hours.
Okay.
Everything counts.
I'm going to throw you a curveball.
Okay.
We have a pastor at the end.
Okay. I happen to have helped Dr. Adrian Rogers launch his
Bellevue Baptist Church here in Memphis.
launch his
Now
media
passed
ministry.
away.
Yeah, launch his media ministry and tell his story, which absolutely is. We didn't do it in the storytelling style here, but I mean, we helped him launch
Did you
stories
show-
in over 50 countries.
So say, did you just for something like that? Did you
Right.
start with the small?
We started out
small-
locally with
Did you start-
one
no, did
radio
you start-
station, one TV
no,
station.
But did you start
Yeah.
with his Bellevue, the original
Yeah,
Bellevue?
yeah. It started
and
at
then
Bellevue.
moved into.
Right, we started taking what
Huge.
his messages, and then edited them down into a syndicated format. And then I spent a lot of time on the telephone, getting us into stations across the country. And then eventually we ended up in about 50 countries around the world and over 3,000 stations. So, yeah.
Okay, do that for me. I have the Blog Talk Radio, so I want you to do that for me.
Okay.
Do that with my. Get it out there. I want to be your new Dr. Adrian Rogers story. Good. I'm sorry. Good time because my voice is going. Thank you, allergies. Oh, it's back. I am sure everybody over here, their mind is going, just like you said, your editing mind starts going when you're talking to someone. Does anyone have a question they want to ask Don about this video? You know, doing your business and putting your story into a video. Anybody have a question on that? Or did I answer while they pulled it?
We did such a good job. Let me just mention, I mean, we were talking about media. You know, I don't know if you know it or not, but I'm a certified guerrilla marketing coach. And I meant to bring a book. How many people have read Guerrilla Marketing by J. Conrad Livingston? Okay, Jay's been doing this for 25 years, I guess. Do we have time?
As I say, the pastor does have a question.
Okay, Pastor, real quick, let's remember the guerrilla
Yes,
marketing.
my question is, what is the recommended length of time for a?
It depends on where, the length of time depends on where you're going to show it. Most people are very busy. If you're going to hand a business card, I'd say get a real succinct message. That's your story. You may want to put your product or some other information behind that. With a DVD, you can put on, you know, an hour and a half if you have to. But be aware of people's time. Most importantly, know who your target is. You're going to a high profile executive. You've got 2 minutes. You better get his attention. All right. Someone else, they may take more time. A hobbyist, they want to see all they can get. You know? It's a different audience. Different audience. Yeah, it's a good question. Good question. One of the things you want to talk about media. One of the things I teach as a guerrilla marketing coach, I was going to say, I was able to, I got the first book, when I got into my first business in 1982, I realized really fast I need to learn how to sell, I need to learn how to market. And like Dr. Flynn, I became a real student of marketing. I love, it's a passion of mine now. And fast forward a number of years, and I was able to actually be coached by Jay and became a certified guerrilla marketing coach, teaching his things. And it's helped me so much. For instance, the hospital that I helped out with marketing, they'd gone through a number of marketing directors over the past 5 years. I went in, I had an ad agency, and we were handling their account. And so I ended up becoming the vice president of marketing for the hospitals there and launched them. I used a guerrilla marketing tactic, and it so happened that the Gulf War had been going on. That was top on everyone's mind. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to do the same thing that the marketing directors before me had done, I'm going to be out the door too in about a year, right?
Remind me to tell you something I always go back to whenever
Okay.
you talk about that. Go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, I had to come up with a plan. And guerrillas, in guerrilla warfare, for those that know anything about it, you've got a small band of people who have to get a mission taken care of, and they're going up against enormous odds, a large army, right? So guerrilla marketing is perfect. Jay came out with this back when entrepreneurism was really starting to happen, and people were, bailing out of corporate America and that sort of thing. And you got to think like a guerrilla. You've got to use leverage, creativity. You don't have a lot of money. You can't go up against the big companies, so you got to be clever. And what I did was I realized that that doctors are really competitive. Okay. But at that time, and I think it's still pretty much that way, doctors could not sell or advertise or market themselves. So what I did was I created a game, a guerrilla marketing game, where we had teams, each team led by a doctor, maybe some nurses and some other clerical people were all involved, and I pitted them against each other. And our sales doubled in 6 months.
Wow.
We had calls coming into the facilities had gone up like 267% in the 6 months. And
And
it was
because they worked together as a team?
they
or
worked
because
together as a
they
team.
got
They were
themselves out
having
there?
fun, and they learned how to market. I taught them how to market. Rather than me going out one guy at a time out there doing the normal
Sent
thing,
them all out.
I sent them out, and they had tasks. What their goal? We had a number of marketing goals for them, and I helped each one of them learn how to do it. And they got real creative, and we gave them prizes, everything from a day off to pizza, at lunch to a cruise,
Wow.
So they fought tooth and nail, and
That would do it.
It worked. It worked. But that was the creativity. I could do it all by myself and do the same thing that all these other people had done, or I could create teams and get them working for me.
Wow. Now, when you said, that somebody was, you didn't want to be the next person out the door.
Yeah, exactly.
So you didn't want to do the usual marketing.
Been there,
things.
done that.
Then,
Yeah.
Kenny Chesney,
Mhm.
a few people have heard of him.
Mhm.
Okay. He was having a hard time. Nobody knew who he was. His
Mm-hmm.
records weren't getting airtime. And all of a sudden, he said he woke up one day and went, "Hey, stupid, you went to college and your major is marketing. Why do you have somebody else marketing you?" And so
An aha moment, right?
So he fired them all. He fired all the marketing people, and he started marketing himself
Mhm.
and put himself out there, like Dr. Flynn said, for free.
Right.
He did the free Walmart parking lot concerts. How do you talk Walmart into doing free Walmart parking lot concerts?
The price is right.
And
It's brilliant.
the rest is history.
Yeah, it's
So you
brilliant.
know yourself.
John Grisham, top salesman,
Yeah.
sold out of the back of his car.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we are wrapping up. One final word. Tell us how to contact you, how to get a hold of
Okay.
you to get those 2-minute video cards.
Okay, you can go to my website at WeTellYourStories.com or call me at 901-485-3027.
Got that? Okay. Now, what about people, this is a virtual audience, so it could be people anywhere.
Mhm.
Do you just deal locally, or can you do things?
Primarily, I deal locally, but I have traveled all over the country depending
Okay,
on
so it
the
can-
situation.
it
Yeah,
can happen.
Right, I've
Okay.
had clients in New York and Chicago and Washington. And
Okay,
so-
that's what I wanted people to hear,
Right,
okay?
right.
He can go, have camera, will travel. Okay.
It's a good
Well,
slogan.
thank you so much,
Thank you, Carol.
Don, and your wonderful dapper self here.
Thank you. That's a compliment coming from her, the Fashion Academy.
But thank you. This is BOCI TV, where we come together, we bring people together, we talk about things, and I hope you learned a lot. I did. You've got me
Great.
really pumped. This is exciting. But we want to thank those of you that are out there in our virtual audience, and also anyone who is watching us archived. We are very, very grateful for you and the niche marketing that is happening for you to be here. But BOCI TV, Twitter at BOCoffee, #BOCI, businessovercoffee.com. Go on, set up your free profile. Don, you've already got your profile. You're ready to go and going, so
Okay, great.
you're set. But if you've not at least gotten your free profile, get in there and get that done so that everyone can see who you are. And please fill out the contact information. It's not a lot to do everything and then nobody can get in touch with you. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I
So-
see that often on business
I
cards,
know.
you know,
Yeah,
how do I
no-
get in touch with this
no
person?
contact
Yeah.
information.
Or the
so-
websites especially.
Yeah, and put a good photo on,
Yeah.
not the, you know,
Yeah, get a
mirror in the
professional photo
bathroom.
made, yeah.
Mirror in the bathroom photo is not a good professional photo. It's okay for, you know, Facebook pictures, but come on. Okay. So anyway, thank you very much, and
My pleasure, thank you.
we'll see you at our next show. Just go on to the next show, right there on that section you see.
Thank you. Well done.